this is Tina VanDerwerker from Berkshire Hathaway Home Services. I am here with Fred Mastroianni from FCM Engineering. Hi,
Yes.
Fred. Thank you so much for meeting with me.
Thank you, Tina. Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, you're welcome. How are you today?
Good. Thanks. Everything's good so far.
Excellent. It's always a good way to start anyway.
Yes.
So tell me about FCM Engineering.
Yeah, so I've been a civil engineer for over 40 years, worked with a lot of private industries for over 40 years. And so back in November of 2021, I decided to start my own small engineering company,
Okay.
FCM Engineering. And my main experience is municipal engineering, where I've done highways and trails and roads and a bunch of different civil engineering type of projects. But as over time, I was able to learn a little bit more about residential design, meaning house designs and additions and septic systems. And I do a lot of structural inspections of numerous homes in the area.
Okay.
So that's my main business, if you will. And I'm a local product. I actually immigrated from Italy when I was 8 years old. Lived in the city of Schenectady for 25 or so years, and moved to Glenville. I think it was 1991. So I'm a Glenville native for over 30 years now. I also chair the traffic safety committee. So anybody in the town of Glenville has some traffic issues, they go in front of our committee, and we evaluate them. And depending on what the issues are, we collect traffic data, accident data, and we evaluate if there's a need for whether it be a stop sign or changing the speed limit signs on given roads, or even change to some geometry to make the road safer. We make those recommendations to the town board, and sometimes they act on it and sometimes they don't. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any control over the bridge that keeps getting hit with the trucks?
I will give you a little story on that. Many years
Yeah.
ago, when the state came to the town of Glenville to tell us that they were going to replace the bridge, and they came to our committee, and I chaired at the time, and they said, well, listen, if we could raise the bridge a little bit, or we can raise it a lot, but raising a lot would mean that a lot of truck traffic would go through Glenville in that area. And also the cost was just prohibitive. Whenever you raise a bridge 4 or 5 feet, whatever it needs to be, above a railroad, it's just not economically feasible. Yeah. So at the time we said, we really don't want to see a lot of truck traffic on Glen Ridge Road because it is a residential community.
Mm-hmm.
But it's amazing how people just can't read signs. I don't understand it. As a traffic engineer, I don't know why. Yeah. But I guess there's enough people that don't pay attention.
Yeah, well, I've heard all kinds of stories about whether it's, the GPS that the trucks use doesn't have the bridge on it. If they're using something other than whatever system they're supposed to be using.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't know how tall their truck is.
And that's amazing in itself. Yes.
Yeah. So, but I have heard also that, it is very cost prohibitive really to raise it. And you're right. We don't necessarily want more truck traffic. I mean, it's bad enough to get the trucks that go that can make it under the bridge, but we definitely don't want to encourage more truck traffic. So I can definitely see why they wouldn't want to spend an exorbitant amount of money to fix it, as well as encourage more traffic.
Yeah. Yes.
So, I get that. So that's interesting that somebody just a citizen of Glenville who has some kind of a concern about their traffic in their area, neighborhood, or whatever, can bring it to the committee.
Yes.
And then you do a study and just determine if it's I'm sure it has to do with the amount of impact it has. It's like a small little neighborhood isn't necessarily going to be changed, but if it impacts a fair number of people, then you want to do something.
Well, we typically follow the manual uniform traffic control devices and the New York State supplement. They provide design guidelines for when things need to, get changed, if you will. For example, I live on Spring Road, and several years ago, we did a speed study because a lot of people are worried about speed on Spring Road, which, as you know, it's kind of hilly, when you get from 147 to Swaggertown Road. And we did a speed study, and it was determined that, yeah, we should change the posted speed limit, which we did. So sometimes, unfortunately, citizens ask for things, and we don't. I wouldn't say agree with it, but we have to follow some standard, because if we don't,
sure,
God forbid somebody gets in a traffic accident and we did something that doesn't meet current standards, and we have the town will be liable for that, and we want to avoid that kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, you can't make everybody happy.
Right.
You do the best that you can for the most amount of good, but
we've done a lot of different good things, I think, as part of that. So one of the things, I don't know if you noticed, but if you go on Route 50 coming from Scotia heading north, or heading towards Saratoga County, there's a traffic light just over the bridge, and then you'll notice that as you're driving along there heading towards Swaggertown, you'll see there's a paved cross on the shoulder side. You'll see some cross hatching that was installed I would say a good 10, 15 years ago. But the reason for that was the neighborhood, and on the left side, saying, geez, people, I'm trying to take a left into my road, and I'm getting passed on the right, and that nobody should be driving on the shoulder.
Right.
So, and that's true. It's not. And so we asked the state Department of Transportation to add some additional striping. And now I think sometimes they still do that, but the intent was to not have people, to go to the right and pass a vehicle that's stopped and taking a left.
Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, people are just too much of in a hurry to get where they need to go. But yeah, I think it does discourage them a little bit.
Yes.
So yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah. So from a residential side, anyone who's interested in adding an addition to their home, or building a new home, or changing their site, or adding in a garage, or putting in a septic system, my firm does that kind of work.
Oh, great. Yeah, that's good to know.
Yeah.
That's good to know, because I often have needs for structural engineering kind of questions, or, situations. So, that would be a resource. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So what made you settle in Glenville?
Well, we lived in Schenectady for a number of years, and back in the late 80s, my wife and I were interested in having land around around the house, and we lived right in the city, so there was, obviously, they're pretty compact there.
Yeah.
And really the big thing too was the school district. We were fortunate enough we wanted the Burn Hills Boston Lake School District as for we didn't have children at the time, but we were planning on having. And lo and behold, both of them graduated. One's a doctor, one's a lawyer. So I can't say enough about the Burn Hills Boston Lake School District. Yeah. They did a wonderful job in educating my kids. So that was a big part of it too.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. There's that, and that's a great district, and it's nice that you can live in Glenville, go to Burn Hills, Boston Lake.
Yeah. And Scotia Glenville was just fine too. Just that we just happen to live on the border, and we're paying Burn Hills school taxes. So they're both good school districts.
Yeah. No, they are. It's a great area too.
Yeah.
Lots of I'm sure it's been built up a lot since you originally moved in there, because there's a lot of businesses along that one corridor.
Yes, it's nice to see Route 50 in general, expand as it has, and so our supervisor's done a good job with that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. What made you go into business for yourself?
Well, I actually retired from Greenman Peterson GPI. It was a large engineering firm, top 100 in the country, and I was at home and saying, well, I can't just sit around and do nothing, and I still have a lot of energy.
Yeah.
And so I said, let me try something new. And although I have to say it was in my mind for a good 10 years prior to that, I just never pulled the trigger. So give it a shot. And so far, so good. I've been very fortunate.
Good. So you're busy. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously we could all use more business, but
Yes.
you're doing all right.
We're doing okay. Yeah. It's
So
paying the
far, so
bills at
good.
least. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are your goals over the next year or so? Where would you like to see your business go to?
Well, right now there's two of us, and I wouldn't mind. I'm hoping to bring on two additional engineers on staff, actually as hopefully part owners. I like to see it grow. I'm 64, so I'm not a spring chicken. So at some point, I'd like to, turn around and sell to someone who would like to keep it going. I've always, that was one of the things. My mom and dad never. My mom never went to school. She was born in Italy. And my dad only had third grade education. So when they came here, and that was one of the things my dad said. We were always in the construction industry. He says, if you could do something on your own, do it, because I never had the opportunity. So so I'm sort of living out a little bit of his dream.
Yeah. Well, that's nice.
Yeah.
Kind of keeping his dream alive and helping help at the same time, and helping others with the services, because there's a lot of people that do what you do.
And the good thing by having I work at home, so my overhead's pretty low. I mean, obviously compared to maybe some other firms, so that keeps the cost down a little bit, and I think it helps people out as well. So
well, I think it's important too, with obviously everything that's going on with the economy, to do a service that's necessary but also affordable.
Yes.
Very few and far between that we can find that, for sure.
And one nice thing too is I am, I do the work and I'm the owner, so I try to get things done as quickly as possible because people don't like to wait. I certainly don't like to wait.
Sure.
As an example, I did an inspection of a structure in Troy yesterday. Today I sent them the report. It's done. So that's the idea. Obviously, in the real estate business, we need to turn things around as quickly as we can.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, people are waiting, and like you said, they don't like to wait.
Yes. I have a rule: 24 hours. Whether you email me, call me, text me, whatever, I will respond, and I will get back to you because, not just like to wait too long. As a matter of fact, I have to have my car fixed, and a week later, my gentleman who's supposed to do the work still hasn't called me. It's frustrating. And so I know how that feels.
Yeah, for sure. So and I mean, like you said, you're your own boss. So and you're doing the work, so you can get there.
Well, my wife tells me she's the boss, but that's okay. I try not to.
Well, that's always the case. So
as you're not a licensed engineer, you're not part of the business, so you're not the boss.
Right. Not for that anyway.
Right. True. That's about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Any special places in Glenville that you like to go? Restaurants or stores, or how do you like to spend your time there?
Yeah, we definitely do a lot of shopping in Glenville. Obviously, there's Price Chopper and Hannaford, and all the. But there's some good restaurants on Route 50. So we try to stay local as much as possible. But of course, I lived in Schenectady for many years, so I do a lot of work actually for the city of Schenectady. So I do a lot of we partake in lots of restaurants in that area as well.
Schenectady has some good restaurants.
So
well, this has been wonderful to get to know you and a little bit about your business. Is there anything else you'd like anybody to know?
Oh, no, I think that's it. If you're looking for somebody who's local and can do a good job for you at a reasonable cost, then feel free to give me a call or email me.
Sounds good. And we'll be putting your contact information at the end of the video, so anybody will be able to get in touch with you as well.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you. Fred Mastroianni from FCM Engineering, and I am Tina VanDerwerker from Berkshire Hathaway Home Services.
Yes, and see Tina if you need any real estate help.
Absolutely. Thank you.
You're welcome.